Good evening, otherworldlies. This is Juliana Angel, your Dark Mass Diva. How's everyone doing this evening? Tonight, I would like to talk about our homes. As you can see, mine is very cluttered. I think I've mentioned that before. I'd like to talk about what our homes need to be, though, whether they are cluttered, they're clean, they need to be relaxing to us. Whether we have a lot of stuff in them, whether we don't. I think I would prefer to, I'm slowly getting some of the clutter cleared out here. Astral and I would like to move to a bigger place. We'd like to make it just a little bit more of a home, to where we have more room to film in different locations. We're usually over on the other side where the mirrors are. This is kind of where I like to sit, over here in the corner by the bookshelf where all my stuff is. I kind of set my drink down over there. I kind of relax in my favorite chair over here and just kind of sit back and everything and talk. But when we do our show together, it's over there by the mirrors. But right here, I'd like to talk about our homes need to be our fortress of solitude. And I'm making a Batman reference. But Batman likes to be by himself down there. He likes to have his little controls and all his little gadgets, like me over here with my laptop, and I'm doing my show over here. And this is why, ladies, we need to have our fortress of solitude. As women, if we don't have that, we're going to have people trying to drop by all the time. We're going to have people asking us for things. All right, here's what happens to us as women. As women, we need to be takers. We need to be receivers. But this is what happens to us, especially after we get older. People tend to see us as mother figures. They tend to ask us for things. They tend to come to us for advice. They tend to want things from us. They tend to think we have things. They tend to think, that they want things from us, and they tend to think they are entitled to things, and if we let people, they will drop by unannounced, and they will do certain things to invade our privacy. So what we're going to want to do is create a situation where people are unable to do that. And what we want to do is, if we want to stay in our feminine, we want to create situations where people know that they can't just drop by. They want to know that they need to ask first. What we need to do is also not drop by on other people. We need to ask before we go over there, because if we're doing that, even if they tell us that we can. All right, because if we're dropping by on other people, even if they tell us that we can, they're going to turn around and do it to us. So we're always going to need to ask, even if it's okay with them. We can't do that two-way thing. So, also, what you need to do is not answer your phone. Text only. Because if you're answering your phone, that means people are going to call you at all times. They're going to think it's okay to keep you on the phone. Make sure that you're not talking on the phone, because people will always be calling you and asking your advice and wanting to keep you on the phone. They're going to drain you. They're going to drain you. They're going to drain you emotionally. And what they're going to do is they're going to want to get you to invest in them emotionally without doing anything for you in return. They're going to call you up and just want your advice. They're going to want your time. They're going to bother you. Single ladies, men are going to want to call you and just talk to you and use you emotionally. And you're thinking, use you emotionally? What do you mean? That means they're not going to want to take you out on dates and entertain you. They're simply going to want to lean on you emotionally and call you. They may take other women out on dates and spend money on them, but then they may just call you and friend zone you and want to talk to you all the time and consider that getting to know you. That really isn't. That's just not spending money on you. That's talking to you on the phone. There's a difference. They're getting their emotional needs met by speaking to you on the phone. They're not investing in you. What you want is people doing things for you, because the more they do for you, the more they're investing in you, and the more they invest in you, the more they appreciate you. And you're thinking, wait a minute, isn't the more that I do for people, the more they appreciate me? No. No. Actually, that's the more they're taking advantage of you and the more they don't appreciate you. The more they see you as a mother figure. So what you're going to want to do is get people to invest more in you. And that is especially true with men. The more they invest in you and the more that they physically and financially do for you, the more they are going to appreciate you and consider you an investment. So you're going to want to keep them off the phone, and you don't want them to come over. So what you are going to want to do, and this is for just in general, not just with men, this is other people as well. You don't want people coming to your house. You don't want people knowing where you live. If you're going to go meet people, you don't want people picking you up at home. You're going to want to meet people at a certain place. If people think they can pick you up at home, they're going to start being too early, they're going to start being too late, that sort of thing. People are going to think that they can switch up times on you. They're going to pull all kinds of fast ones on you. I'm speaking from experience. In fact, I'm going to talk about a certain friend who I have a problem with. She, for some reason, I can't have people pick me up, and this is something, I learned a valuable lesson. This is something I learned since I moved to this particular apartment. As you can see, it's very cluttered and messy, and for different reasons, I just can't have people come over. It's just really too small, and so I don't have people come in because Astral and I film our shows here, and it's just really too small to have people coming over. Well, people keep trying to invite themselves, and I uninvite them and tell them, no, you may not come over because it is just really inconvenient. And they still try to invite themselves over, and I say, no, you may not. And I'm thinking, I said, you need to meet me at this coffee place or this place or that place, and they still try to come over here. They go, but what's your address? And I said, well, you don't need it because you're not coming over. And they still keep trying to, I'm talking about this one friend in particular, she really can't get it through her thick head that she's not supposed to come over here. So I said, here's the address to the place where we're going to meet. You don't need my home address since you're not coming over there. She will still try to pick me up in front of my house. She goes, well, I'm in front of your house where you live. And I said, what is it about no, you may not come over that you don't understand? And she goes, well, I can't find parking at that coffee shop. And I said, well, I'm not at my house. I'm at that coffee shop. So you're going to have to find parking near there, or I'm going to have to meet you at a different location. You may not come to my house because there's not parking at my house. And you can't pick me up in front of my house because it's dangerous for me to try to meet you in front of my house. There's a reason you can't pick me up there. It's not okay. And for whatever reason, she keeps trying to pick me up at my house. And none of the reasons ever make sense. But she just can't get it through her mind. Even though I keep telling her, no, she may not pick me up here. It's dangerous for her to pick me up here. Just at the street, it's dangerous. I can't step off the curb without getting hurt. There's no place for her to park. It's a busy city street. It's inconvenient for her to come inside. There's just so many reasons for her not to do it, and the main reason is because I told her not to, and I tell her not to every time she comes to see me, but she still insists on trying to come over here. And the main reason she tries to do it is because she tries to change the times every time she comes over here, and change the plans and the times and the meeting times, and I think it's a control thing. And so when people do that, you have to make sure that they're meeting you at a certain place and a certain time, because if they don't, they're going to try to control the situation. And they're going to try to interrupt you when you're in the middle of doing something. One reason I don't let people stop by is because if they did, they would interrupt me when I'm doing the show. I know for a fact no one will interrupt me when I'm doing this show right now because I don't let people stop by. No one's going to knock on the door right now. No one's going to bother me. I know this for a fact because people aren't allowed to call and people aren't allowed to knock on the door. I'm not going to have people drop in when my house is messy. My house is messy right now. No one's going to see it. I'm going to be able to clean it up before anyone sees it because, well, I don't have to worry about anyone invading my privacy and bothering me. That's what I'm talking about. So I'm not going to have any sort of issues like that. And single ladies, you don't, if you're dating multiple men, you don't want to bring any of them home. You know why this is? It's because your neighbors are watching everything you do, especially if you're attractive. The more attractive you are, and even if you're not, just say you're uglier than sin. Even if you're ugly, but especially if you're attractive, every 2 guys that come to your house, it looks like 4. Every 3 guys, it looks like 6. You know what I'm saying? Multiply it by 2 or 3. You have 3 guys visit you every year, it seems like 9, okay? Your neighbors think that you're a prostitute, okay? I sound like, oh my God, Becky. No, I do just now. I did just now, right? They do. Your neighbors are imagining you doing the most nefarious things because you're a single lady. They think you have a revolving door going on if you're single and you're dating multiple people. And if it's just like a few people every year, they think you're just doing all kinds of stuff, right? Because and single people do date a few people every year, typically, right? If you're young and single, that's probably what you've dated a couple of people each year, right? So your neighbors are watching everything you do, especially if they're older folks, and they're watching everything you do. Do not have different people come to your house. You go meet them somewhere else and wait until you have somebody steady in your life and it's one person. And then, only then, it's somebody serious and they're going to be in your life for a while. Only then can they come over and it's one person. Okay, I have one man in my life, okay, and it's my fiance, and he comes over. And we're getting ready to move and get our own place. But it's only him, and he comes over. He's the only person who comes over here, and then I have one friend who lives in the building, a female friend, and she visits. So I really don't have people coming over here because this is my fortress of solitude. It's my fortress of cluttertude. It's my fortress of solitude. So that's what you need to have that. You need to have it to where people do not see you because you're female as any kind of convenience. They need to make sure that you're not the kind of person they can ask for things. You don't want people asking to borrow things, not to borrow your clothes, not to borrow your food, borrow your food. But, like, do you have any butter? Do you have any, you want to be a nice neighbor and everything like that, but you don't want people coming over, knocking on the door, thinking they can ask you for things, and you're thinking, well, that's not being a good neighbor. You just don't want people to think that you're a giver. Now, you can be nice, but you don't want people to think you're a resource, okay? If you're a female, you don't want to be seen as a resource. You want to be the kind of person that people give to, okay? Because you're a woman. You want people giving things to you, not taking from you. You don't want to be seen as a mother, okay? Especially if you have male persons in your life, okay? Not the mailman, I mean men, okay? You don't want anyone coming to you wanting anything from you. You want to be the kind of person that people give things to you. If you're going around, okay, because speaking as somebody who would ask for help or have a problem and people would just make faces at me and I wish I could help you and just not want to do things for, and then suddenly I'm getting rid of all the bozos and things started going right. Okay, you want to attract benefactors in your life. You don't want to attract people who are trying to take. And if you're a lady and the older you get, people are going to see you as mother and giver, okay? Mother figure. No, you don't want any of that. And you don't want to get to where you're this bossy person who's constantly having to tell people no and tell people off, okay? Because you're not going to be in your feminine if you're like that. And I'm getting on here and giving advice because this is my show. but I don't want to have to go around telling people what to do, unless they're my actual kid. But I don't want to have to put people in check all the time. I don't want to have to constantly. I don't want to have to be any kind of a resource. I don't want to have to give anybody money. I don't want to have to put in on things. I want to be to the point where I'm a self-sustaining unit, or somebody's giving me something. I'm in a relationship where there's a give and take going on, but it's not. I know this is kind of a, I'm going to say something that kind of made me mad earlier. Somebody wanted to be my friend, and I overheard them asking if I drive and have a car, and I said no. You want to be my friend because you think I drive and have a car? No. And I know why you think that is because I'm older. No, that's why you wanted to be my friend, because you think I drive and have a car. No. And it's funny because there was that like stereotype where I'm in a relationship with a younger guy, and they probably think he's going around driving my car picking up younger chicks. That's not what's going on, man. Not what's going on. He's not with me because I have stuff. I don't have stuff. He's with me because he likes me. So I'm not some older white woman with money. Trust me, I don't have money. So I wouldn't be on YouTube if I had money. I'm on YouTube because it's fun, and I hope someday I can make some money. So if you can subscribe, and tell your friends about my show if you think it's cool and you like it and you're getting entertained and you're getting something out of it, I would really appreciate it. Tell your friends about me, subscribe, and all that good stuff. I'd appreciate it a lot, really, seriously, because I'm not an older white woman with money. I'm just an older white woman. And I don't have it to give, you know what I mean? And if you're a woman, you should be receiving, you know what I'm saying? Women are the receivers, men are the givers. So what you want to do is, when you're dating a man, you want to go meet him somewhere. You want him spending money on you. You don't want to go 50-50 on dates. Okay? So especially if you're my age, it's really, how can I say, it's really degrading. And if you feel like you're halfway attractive, you really shouldn't have to open your wallet. You know what I mean? If you're really trying to be feminine, I'm really hoping that if you're really making an effort to be feminine, I really hope you're making an effort not to attract men who expect you to pay on dates, because that's kind of, what's the whole point? I mean, I hope you're trying to attract somebody who wants to take care of you, because nowadays I really think it's more, it's better just to be alone. If you're trying to, it's better to be alone than to have someone who thinks you need to take care of them. I mean, I've already raised a child, and I'm a grandmother and all that kind of stuff. I don't want to take care of another person. I don't want to be another person's mama or something like that. I mean, I don't want to be a grown person's mama. I feel like if you're a good woman, you're going to multiply a man's wealth that he already has. The man is supposed to provide the wealth, and you're supposed to show him how to multiply it. That is what you bring. You show him how to multiply his wealth. You give him value just by being with him. You don't bring money. You are the value. It's if he asks you what you bring to the table, you remind him you're not a waitress. You are the guest of honor. You are the goddess. I mean, you don't... If he says something stupid like that to you, you realize he's a bozo, he's a dusty. I mean, why would he say something that's stupid to you? I mean, I really hope that... I pray that you're not dealing with people who say stupid stuff like that to you, but there are still men who say dumb things like that to you. And I've gone out with guys where they're like, I notice you won't let me know where you live, and I'm saying, well, dating me doesn't entail you coming over, so you really don't need to know. I mean, you're gonna meet me at such and such place, and then you're gonna drop me off over here, and then we'll see each other, at this place if we date again, And I go, but coming to my house isn't really part of the deal. And if guys are trying to invite themselves to your house, it's really a sign of low class, because you know why they're trying to come over. And if they're really trying to get you into bed, I mean, they can spring for a hotel, right? And don't have them invite you over to their house either. Like, you're not a hooker. Okay, and if they want to cook for you, that's no kind of a... I don't want to go to their stupid bachelor pad. I mean, that's no kind of an honor. And if guys brag that they can cook, all guys can cook. Everyone I've dated can cook. That's not even any kind of a big deal. All men can cook, okay? I mean, seriously. I mean, all women can cook too. It's really, if they can brag that they could cook, it's like, okay, but can you earn a living? Stop bragging that you can do a basic thing. Everybody can cook. Can you afford a hotel? Can you afford a date? That's really what I want to know. I don't... So you can bring me to your house and heat something up on a stove, so what? I mean, stop bragging that you can do a basic thing. So can I can cook too. Who cares? I mean, don't be impressed when people can tell you they can do basic things. Be impressed that they can make like a 6-figure income and support you without you having to work. Because that's really what they should be able to do. Men should be able to put in a 40-hour work week, so women should not have to work. That's what's up. And it's become normalized that women should also have to work. If you have a husband, you should not have to work. These men that complain that they're doing the job of both people, no, that's what men are supposed to do. Women are supposed to be able to stay home if they want to, and clean the house and run the house. We should be able to stay home. If you get married and your husband tells you you have to go to work, he should be really embarrassed. And he tells you have to go to work. I mean, it's one thing if you want to, and that's cool. But he tells you have to. That's really... Come on now. So, he's telling you have to. Okay, well, if you're poor. But do you want to marry someone who keeps you poor? Or do you want to marry someone who will actually give you a nice life? And guys who ask to come over, that is really low class. And I've dated guys who've asked to come over, or they try to walk me home. It's because they want to know where you live. They're not being gentlemen. And I'm like, no, I don't want you walking me home. And then they keep trying to insist, and I was like, no, don't make me tell you again. Like, well, I feel like I'm not being a gentleman. And I said, no, I feel like you want to know where I live, and that's not okay. And stop bringing it up. And then I end up not wanting to see them again and having to block them because they keep trying to find out where I live. It's terrible. But I've had to get rid of a lot of people that way just because they're always trying to find out where I live. It's like, are you embarrassed by where you live? And I said, no, absolutely not. I live in a good neighborhood. I just, you need to stop trying to find out where I live. And I'll be doing something, oh, can I come over and help? No. I don't have people over. And I already told you I don't have people over. I don't want you to come over. It's like, are you trying to hide something? No, I don't want you coming over. That's not part of dating me. Coming over is not part of dating me. And we need to normalize that. And, I'm planning to marry the man I'm with. That's why he comes over here. And he's earned the right to be over here. So that's, we need to normalize that. Not just have people come over. And they'll try to find excuses. Oh, let me help you with this. Let me do this for you. And no, they're just trying to come over to get into bed, or trying to tell you they know how to cook. Everybody knows how to cook. You know how to cook. You know how to hammer a nail in the wall. I know how to. I built my own shelves. I mean, come on. Men have mad domestic skills these days. These guys who say they know how to cook. Everybody does, bro. Come on. Women know how to do a bunch of, traditional like a lot of women know how to change tires and work on cars and do all kinds of stuff. And men know how to cook and change diapers. And I mean, men know how to do things that were considered like traditional male stuff. Like a lot of women I talk to, their husbands do all this stuff with the kids and know all that, like take their kids to the pediatrician and do all this stuff. It's like normal. And these guys try to tell you all this stuff like it's new or something. It's like, a lot of these guys are better cooks than their wives. And they brag about it like it's something new and different. It's like, I'm really just not impressed. Stop. Guys, don't brag you can cook like you think you're special. Okay, I mean, whatever I can do that's like you think is a guy skill, I don't think I'm special for it. I just kind of like, okay, I've fixed different plumbing stuff in there. It's no big deal. I mean, I don't think I'm some kind of special genius for it. Big deal. Because I've just watched people do things, and just kind of picked up on it, so I didn't have to, call someone else to do it. Big deal. Whatever, whatevs, So it's like, don't try to ingratiate yourself and act like you're special because you could do stuff around the house. Like every modern guy can do stuff around the house. And the best chefs in the world are men. I mean, so what, you can cook, big deal. But I think I've gone on about that like more than I needed to. But seriously, so don't be like, I can cook. I'm sorry, I've just had so many guys try to say that to try to get into the house, and I'm just like, okay, I've heard that like 100 times, so yeah, don't even go there, bro. But I can't believe how many guys have tried to walk me home, or say they can cook, or ask if they can help me with something after I've told them specifically I don't have people come over. It's like I told you that yesterday, and you're still trying, and I'm mad because you're disrespecting me right after I told you can't come over. That's kind of just that's disqualifying you from a second date. So I just the fact that you're trying to fight me on it is, I can cook. So what? Just not so. But women are looking for men who are going to take them out of the house, take them dancing, and spend money on them. So unless you're trying to do that, we don't want you in the house, because you're making a nuisance of yourself. We don't want people who are going to drop by unannounced and call us on the phone and bug us. Okay, basically, if you're not trying to get us out of the house and take us somewhere and spend money, Or, speaking of our house, would you like to pay our rent? You know, level us up. That's what we really need. We're the guys that want to do that. So, you know, this is our fortress of solitude, ladies. You're going to want to look at guys who aren't going to invade your privacy. You're going to want to live your life in a way where you're not going to let people invade your privacy, where you're going to meet people other places. You're not going to make it to where people can come over. Astro and I were talking about when we move. He goes, how many people are going to know our address? And I'm like, nobody, if that's the way you want it to be. I mean, yeah, my grandson can know our address. He goes, oh yeah, well, the little guy can come over anytime. I go like, well, yeah, but like no one else. The baby's welcome anytime, but yeah, like no one else though. Like, you know, like who else is going to come over? Seriously. But we just don't want, we want to just be able to do our shows and just kind of just chill. But yeah, I really hated being single because I just like constantly had people just wanting to come over, and I'm just like, no, or just wanting to call, and I'm like, I don't really like being called. If you want to see me, just text me and ask me out. Well, I can cook. I'm like, well, so can everybody else. Why don't you just take me out to dinner? You know, it's like, you know, you're going to need to, if you really want to be over here, you're going to have to be paying my rent or something. I mean, I'm really just, you know, pretty high maintenance. It's my fortress of solitude. It's a big, messy place. Yeah, there's no convenience over here. Do not make yourself convenient to people. Don't make people think you're going to pick them up. If you do have a car, don't let them know. Don't ever make people think you're going to, especially with the gas prices the way they are. Don't make people think don't let people think you're going to pick them up. Don't let people think you're good for anything, but just, you know what I mean. You know what I mean by that. Don't do anyone any favors. Just be like, you know what? If you want me in your life, you better just enjoy my company. You want to take me out? Just ask me out. I mean, you know, I add value just by being in your life. Seriously, I'm good enough that way. I mean, I found someone who wants me around because I have good advice. I'm good for him. I help him. I motivate him. I'm there for him. You know, hopefully I don't embarrass him. You know, he knows I'm not going to sleep around on him. I'm just really not interested in being like that. Just, you know, classy. But, you know, I'm not someone who has a car and all that good stuff. You know, I'm a practical person, and yeah, I'm not impressed by people who can cook and all that good stuff. So, guard your privacy. And you do need to care what people think, because they're going to gossip about you and they're going to make problems for you. And your ex-bozos and all these other people are just going to harass you. You don't want people coming to your house and interrupting you, especially if you work from home. If you're a writer, if you're a YouTuber, okay, or you have some kind of mail order business and you're sending things out, you just do not want to be bothered. If you work from home, you don't want people knocking on your door, or you just don't want people in your business. Okay? And it's going to get to the point where you just don't want people in your business. You know, you want to just be about something, keep people out of your business. If You don't want to talk to your nosy neighbors. Like, what I do is I wait to a certain hour because I know the racist neighbor lady is not going to be hanging around the mailboxes. She hangs around the mailboxes from around 5 to 7, and she bothers everybody that goes up to the mailboxes and talks their ear off. And she will not leave me alone for some reason. This lady's about in her 70s, and she's crazy, and she's racist, and she just will not leave me alone. And I just pray for patience whenever I see her. But I told myself, just don't go over there from that hour to that hour. And I stand there and I look, and it's really that closed in space. I don't want to put a mask on when I go over there, and I know if I go over there, everyone will get in my face and talk to me, and I'm thinking, I don't want to put a mask on and have to deal with people and having them talk at me and say something that's going to offend me. Because this lady goes over there and goes, slavery never happened, the Holocaust never happened. And as soon as someone says something like that, it sets me off. I'm like, yes, it did. That stuff did happen. You need to be quiet. I'm thinking, just stop it. But you gotta just keep in mind that some people are not all there. And she just says one racist thing after another. This never happened. They make that stuff up to make white people look bad. Like, that stuff really did happen. Why would they make that up? Why are people rewriting history? If you're doing... The reason they have history is so we don't repeat it. I'm a history buff. You need to face stuff that really did happen, or else we will repeat it. Even if it's ugly, even if it's awful, even if it's terrible, and it all is, okay? But you need to face what really did happen, or else we will repeat it. And that lady, I can see why she doesn't want to face it, because it's horrible. But face it, or else we're going to repeat it. It's bad. People are horrible. People were horrible to me when I was a child. Oh my gosh, I'm going to tell so many stories. The longer I have this channel, I will tell some horrible stories about stuff that happened to me when I was a child. Seriously, bad things. Okay? Because I'm adopted. I had some bad things happen to me. So, people are bad. They are. They're really bad. So, if we don't learn from history, we're going to do it again and again and again. So a little bit of background information is good. I'm not just talking about white people doing bad things. I'm talking about everybody doing bad things. And all the battles are interesting, and everything that's ever happened in history is very interesting. All the medical things, everything. So she needs to stop pretending bad things never happened, because we learn from bad things. So every time she approaches me with all this nonsense, I'm just kind of like, where is she getting this? Where is she getting this? And she won't be quiet. And then she follows me around the building. And she doesn't even live by the mailboxes. I live by the mailboxes. So I have to just wait till she goes away. And I get my mask and I'm looking, and I'm just like, I have to wait till she goes away. And like, I say hello to the other neighbors. Like, I'm not saying everyone here is like cuckoo, just her. I'm nice to everybody, but I'm just like, okay. But she'll wait, she'll look and make sure no one else is around, like the people of color are not listening. And then she'll go to me and I'm like, lady, I'm not racist. My partner's a person of color. She doesn't know that. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure all those things really did happen. And I'm thinking, you look old enough to be there when those things happened. I don't say that. But I'm just like, I want to though so bad. Like, oh man, I just want to be so disrespectful to my elders, but I'm not. Like, but she's nice to me though. But she just like, I really don't think slavery ever happened. And I'm like, yeah, I think it did. I really do. I mean, you can see, the reflection and, oppression in people, and you see it. You see it. I mean, just the bad things that happen to me, in my lifetime, you can see it. You can see the problems that I have in my lifetime from the bad things that have happened to me just in this lifetime. I can see it. So, and I see, the socioeconomic things that have happened to people. It's just good common sense, and there's evidence of things that have happened to people. I don't know where she's getting this, and to deny bad things happening to people. How can she live with herself and even think that she's even right? I mean, there's evidence. But she doesn't want to think it happened. I don't blame her for not wanting to think it happened, but bad things happen. So I would rather not think the bad things that happened to me happened, but they did. So I would rather not think bad things happen to people of other races, but they happened. I mean, bad things have happened to everybody, and I would prefer that none of it ever happened to anybody, but she can't deny that it happened. She didn't personally do it, so why is she denying it? I don't understand. So, I mean, it's sad that somebody would think that I would do a mean thing to somebody. I've had mean things done to me. So it's so sad. But she's old and confused, I think is what it is. So, but that lady, that's one reason I avoid that neighbor, because I don't want to get mad at her. Because she's old, she's confused. So, what can I do? But I think some people believe that. I know they're teaching it in some of the schools. Someday, Astral and I, if we have kids, history lessons begin at home. And if they try to tell our kids that stuff like that didn't happen, we're going to sit our kids down and go, yeah, that stuff didn't happen. Because I know better. I had my son from my previous marriage. His 7th grade history teacher tried to tell him the Holocaust never happened. And he stood up in front of the class, he's 12 years old, and he said, yes, it did. And said to the teacher, why are you not telling the truth? She got very angry with him and told him to sit down. So he went home and told his father, my first husband, all about it. And what happened was he took some kids from the class home, and my late husband opened a history book and pointed out pictures of the Holocaust and gave the kids a history lesson and said this happened. Okay. And explained the tragedy and what happened to the Jews and all this, and said, this actually did happen. And I don't know why your teacher's not telling you the truth. But she probably knows it happened, but the school district's probably telling her to teach you something different, and we don't know why. But just the fact that the teacher was yelling at her son, telling him to sit down, telling him to be quiet, and all this kind of stuff, I was really upset. So when we went to the parent-teacher conference, she got face-to-face with my late husband, and they almost got in a fight. I was almost just going to go in there and talk to her myself, but my late husband and I went in there together and talked to her, and they almost got into it. It was really bad. And she was very rude to him. I don't even know if she believed what she was teaching the kids to this day, but it was horrible. The other kids didn't even know better. My son was the only one who knew the Holocaust really happened. That's really bad. This was a long time ago. This was in the mid-2000s. And the kids didn't know any better until my son said something. So, I totally got off subject there. Totally got off subject. But, yeah. But my late husband wanted to sue the school for being anti-Semitic and for lying. And he didn't, but it was horrible. And I couldn't believe it. But, yeah, I heard, what is it, back east? They're trying to tell everybody that slavery never happened. So that's probably, we're in California. I am. So I don't know if they're trying to tell the kids here that slavery never happened. I think they know better. But here in California, where there were a lot of Jews, they're trying to say the Holocaust never happened. And we know better. I don't know why they're trying to pass that. They're trying to get that over on somebody, but they've been trying to do it. I don't know. But this old lady, she's convinced. But one of my friends goes to her church, and I said, "Can you just please pray for her, because she is convinced that nothing bad ever happened to anybody." She goes, "Yeah." She goes, "It's I don't know what to do, because she does go to my church." And I go, "Well, have everybody pray for her, because she's convinced nothing bad ever happened to anybody." So it's so sad, so crazy. But that is one reason I have the Fortress of Solitude here, because that lady doesn't try to come over here, and she has before. So that's another reason to have that Fortress of Solitude. She does not come over here. She has tried to drive and follow me down the street when I was walking, though. So that's another reason not to have this open door policy over here. Yeah, a crazy lady like that has a driver's license and a car, and drives down the street when I was trying to walk to the doctor's. So, yeah, she has a license and she's on the road. Yeah, so good luck to everybody. Maybe you should pray for her too. Well, this is Juliana Angel. Remember, don't let people drop by unannounced. Don't let people come over. Don't let people call you. Meet people when you're going on a date. Don't let them come over. Don't chat with your neighbors if you don't want them in your business. Value yourself. Love yourself. Try not to let people bother you. I'm trying real hard. Alright, I love you all, otherworldlies. You have a great evening. Bye-bye.